man who leads a life of danger. Everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. Read every move he makes, another chance he takes. Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Secret Asian man, secret Asian man, they've given you a number and taken away your name.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about standard form of a parabola, and there's a secret to the standard form of a parabola that not many teachers would want you to know, because most teachers, when they're asking you to solve, or when they're asking you to find the vertex, the maximum or minimum, they're going to want you to complete the square and put something from standard form into vertex form. However, there is a much easier way to actually do this and to figure out what the vertex is of a parabola without completing the square. Now, I have to let you know that if a test question asks you to complete the square, then you have no choice but to know how to complete the square. So it's a good idea that you review that and know how to complete the square. I have a video on that, so make sure you know how to do that. However, if the question is just a word problem and it says nothing about you having to complete the square, this is fair game, this secret. So I'll let you know what the secret is right now. It has something to do with partially completing the square, and if you want to know more about how I come up with this formula, or how most people know this formula, it has to do with coming up with just the axis of symmetry. So, take for instance, we have this example, and you have this parabola, 3x squared plus 18x plus 10. And it's asking you to find the vertex, okay? So it's asking you to find the vertex. Now, how you normally would find the vertex of this thing is by completing the square. Once you have completed the square, that is what switches standard form into vertex form. However, if you know a little secret, which is how to come up with the equation of the axis of symmetry. Now, most of you would know that the vertex is located at HK, okay? Your XY, or your HK. You also know that the vertex is where the equation of the axis of symmetry is. If you know the equation of the axis of symmetry, which is x equals whatever your h value is for your vertex, if you know where your axis of symmetry is, you know where your vertex is located. So the way to do that is by simply using this formula here, which I will outline in red, which is the axis of symmetry is equal to negative b all over 2a. So this is how you come up with where the axis of symmetry is. Very easy if you remember this. So again, your a is over here located with your x squared, your b is located with your x, and your c is out there. So x is equal to, in this case, b, or negative b, which is 18, all over 2 times a, which is 3. So the equation of the axis is equal to negative 18 all over 6. And so that means the equation of the axis is equal to negative 3. And this 100% is where the vertex is located. So the equation of the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 3. So we already know that the vertex is negative 3 something, blank. Now how do we figure out the height of that vertex? Very simply, if you already know that the vertex is located at x equals negative 3, all we have to figure out is what the height is of the vertex at x equals negative 3. So we can simply use the formula of y equals 3x squared plus 18x plus 10, which is the original formula, and I'm going to just plug in x equals negative 3 into this formula, and if you continue this, this is going to be 3 times negative 3 squared is 9 plus 18 times negative 3 plus 10. So this is y equals 3 times 9 is 27, and then 18 times negative 3 is 30, 54, so negative 54 plus 10. And so y is going to be equal to negative 27 plus 10, which is negative 17. So I get y is equal to negative 17 when x is negative 3. So the vertex in that case is negative 3, negative 17. Also, a little key here is you know that this parabola definitely opens up because this value of a is positive. So clearly, you're going to have a parabola that's opening up where the vertex is at negative 3, negative 17. So therefore, there's going to be a minimum height of negative 17, and it happens when x is 3. Again, you would never use this if your teacher asks you on a test to specifically complete the square, but if your teacher asks you for where the vertex is, or they ask you for the maximum or the minimum of some problem that is given to you in standard form, this is fair game as long as you understand this formula. You actually just have to memorize this formula. If you want more understanding on where this formula comes from, there's also videos on this, but it has to do with partially completing the square and just coming up with the equation of the axis. Because the equation of the axis is key. If you know where the equation of the axis of symmetry is on a parabola, you know the location of the vertex is on that, so you can figure out the height of the vertex, and it's a really easy method to doing vertex. The other key I found that was very interesting is that if they wanted this parabola in vertex form, you could actually write vertex form right now after you've already figured out the vertex. Because you know that a parabola in vertex form is a times x minus h all squared plus k, and you definitely already know your a value. Your a value is right here, it's the 3. That's always your a value. And then you know your vertex is negative 3, negative 17, so this will be x minus negative 3, which is x plus 3 squared, minus 17. Guarantee you, if you completed the square, this is exactly what you would get for your vertex form. So there is a way of doing this without completing the square. However, again, if your test question asks you to complete the square, you have no choice but to do that. So learn how to do that. But if it does not say anything about having to complete the square, you can use this trick, and it's a very simple way to figure out where the vertex is.